Mark Boals, Seven The Hardway, your new project. How's that going these days?
Well, it's a new band. I've worked with Tony and Virgil before, but this is a new project, and so it takes a lot to get it off the ground. Something new these days, and we're working hard on it. And I think we did a really good album, and band sounds great live, so we're ready to rock out.
Production of the album is incredible. The sound quality and your voice.
Oh, thank you.
Very good voice.
Thank you. Well, it's a lot different. Some people were surprised. It's a little different style of singing than most people know me for. But anyway, I had a lot of fun doing that, and I'm just trying to expand the palette of different things that I do, and keep up to date. It's not 1980 whatever anymore.
That's true. When you guys record this album, what type of process do you guys go through, to write the songs and record them?
Well, we pretty much write and record them at the same time. It's a different process. Sometimes on this album, Tony and Virgil and I got together and just played live some ideas, and then took some parts home and worked on them and got back together. Other songs we worked on separately, and then put it together later. So it just depends. But I think the best way to do it with this band, with Tony and Virgil especially, is to get together and do it together. So I think the next album we're going to do it all that way.
You guys got any tour dates also lined up in the near future?
We're probably going to be touring in Europe in the spring. We're working on it right now. As far as other places, I don't know yet. But, we'd love to tour everywhere. So, but, we have to have the album out there and people hear about the band so they'll know we're out there. So it takes a little time to do that.
You guys are on the internet and, broadcasting this stuff everywhere. How hectic is the publicity in this? You guys doing a lot of interviews?
I started off kind of slow because, to tell you the truth, we didn't get a lot of help from the record company at this time around, so we had to push it ourselves, but it's picking up. The pace is picking up now, so and we're ready to do whatever it takes, to promote the band. So.
Another thing, too, when I read your biography again, because I read it probably every few years, you played with Savoy Brown in 82, 83?
Yeah, that's right. It was the first time I ever went out of my home state to play. It was the first touring I'd ever done, so I was a youngster then.
So what did you do in this band at that time?
Oh, I was a lead singing bass player.
Lead singing bass player, all right.
Yeah.
So this would be your first shot at the big time, let's say.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. It wasn't very big time, but it was little big time.
The little big time? Well, I mean, they're still known, and it's a big enough name.
Yeah, we played all over. I had a good time with them.
And then I read too that you played bass for Ted Nugent on tour.
Yeah, that was right after Savoy Brown. Ted actually saw me playing with Savoy Brown in Dallas, Texas, and asked me to work with him. So I worked with him for about a year after that.
So there's no albums with Ted Nugent?
No, I was supposed to do the Penetrator album, but Ted had asked me to do it, but the record company brought in a producer who brought in his own singer, so I kind of got outvoted on that one. Kind of why I kind of left and came to L.A. looking for greener pastures,
And those greener patches were Yngwie Malmsteen?
Yeah, I got hooked up with him just shortly after arriving in L.A., and that was a pretty wild ride.
And you're the lead vocalist on his most famous album, Trilogy.
Yeah, that's the first album I actually ever recorded in my life.
Do you even recall the process that you guys recorded that, like how it worked with Yngwie at that time?
Oh, it was insane. It was totally out of control. We lived in a band house next door to Alice Cooper and out in this nice area of Woodland Hills in California in L.A. And we had this studio booked for 6 months, and nobody ever showed up at the same time. It was like just it was a big party, and hardly any work, mostly just craziness at the 80s, and the town was crazy, and Yngwie was kind of crazy, and so the band was kind of crazy. We eventually got the record done.
Yeah.
amazingly enough. I didn't know if it would ever get done. It seemed like it took forever. We actually were in the studio 6 months for that.
And you kept contact with Yngwie throughout all the years because you've played back with him in the 90s.
Yeah, I worked with him in '96, in '98, '99, 2000. I think I've done 4 studio albums with him, and there's a bunch of live stuff out, compilations.
Do you ever think someday in the future you'll get another call from Yngwie?
Oh, I don't know. He's still pretty. He's calmed down a little bit, but he's still kind of crazy. One never knows. I don't see it in the future probably, but because it's kind of like going backwards for me. But I've always respected him as an artist and as a musician, and despite whatever happens, business-wise or personality-wise, he was always great to be with on stage. He always rocked the house on a live show. So.
Another thing too, going back to Seven The Hardway, how did you, let's say, how did the whole band get together and meet, let's say, to make a band, Seven The Hardway?
Well, Tony and I had talked about it for quite a while before we actually got down to brass tacks and put it together. So we had been talking about doing something, and then we had started writing a few songs, and then we got Virgil involved. We actually, Virgil was busy at the time, so we tried out a couple of other drummers, but nobody was really up to the capabilities that Virgil is capable of. So we're kind of spoiled from working with him before. So it's hard to find somebody to replace him. So then we brought him into it and started writing songs and putting the album together. And pretty much fell into place after that.
And he is a good drummer, so it's hard to get somebody like that.
He's just one of a kind. He really is. He's just a super drummer. He really is.
Your voice throughout all these years, have you been taking care of it, or how is it today? Like when you sing, because I mean you're the one that feels it.
Oh, it's still fine. It's just like actually I think I sing better now because I have a more mature kind of musical sense, so I know a little bit better how to use it, and I keep myself physically fit, and that's a big part of keeping your voice, going strong, is singing well physically, and also being, in shape. And because it's like an athlete, it's a muscle. The vocal cords are a muscle, and you have to take care of it just like an athlete. So
no partying until 4 a.m. with Mark Boals.
No, not really. Not if I'm going to have to sing the next day. That's impossible. I don't do that.
How do you think some artists do that? It's quite extraordinary that they keep up, but perhaps they don't sing that well the next day. Yeah, in my experience, they don't sing well the next day. It's a physical thing. It's just impossible to be at your peak if you abuse yourself the night before. It's just impossible. I mean, you can still pull it off if you're a professional, and you can fake it, but it's not going to be your best. So for your new album, do you guys go on a single yet? And is it released, like a single and a video coming up in the future, promo video?
We did a promo video, but I think we picked the wrong song because our old fans from our previous projects weren't ready for that yet, and they were kind of shocked. It's a song "Guilty" from the album.
Okay.
And I think it's on YouTube. But we are going to do another. We didn't really release it as a single. It was just the first pre-release promo video. We are planning on doing another full-on video really soon, and we've got a lot of other little promo things coming up. So we're probably going to play a show in LA next month, just like a album release show.
Okay.
But that's not for sure yet.
Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hope you have a great weekend.
Oh, thanks a lot, and thanks for calling, and I'm sorry I got the time wrong.
Hey.
I know he told me 1 o'clock.
Hey, that stuff happens.
Up here too.
Hey, thank you very much.
Where are you at? You're in New York?
Nova Scotia, Canada. Just using a New York number.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I came up New York on the readout. Okay. How's the weather up there today?
It's actually not bad. It's not cold yet.
Excellent. It's hot. It's hot here. It's almost 100 degrees. But it's good. It's a good day for the beach.
Well, you have a good time at the beach, Mark.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for calling.